Well, we're all set up on Marathon Key at the U.S. Coast Guard Station, mile marker 49. They have 4 campsites here with full hookups. I think they're about $30, online reservations only. But this is a very well kept secret, at least I think so, because it's sitting right on the water. There's some folks down there fishing right now, catching, I think they're catching some kind of snapper. But it's a very small Coast Guard station. I haven't been here long enough to understand what their mission is. They've got this little canal that comes up inside the base that they use. Like everything else in the Keys, it's sitting right on US 1. There's US 1 right there, and there's a gate to enter the Coast Guard station, and you have to call in to get the gate open when you want to leave. So if you're looking for a secure place to camp, you couldn't get really any better than this as far as military campgrounds go. It's about a 45-mile drive to Key West. We're going to make that drive tomorrow. We wanted to stay here on Marathon to maybe avoid some of the congestion of trying to get in the Naval Base campground down there. And this was really a good choice. This is number 1 right here. The utilities are back on that white post sitting on top of that yellow pedestal. So you get kind of a grassy gravel parking area. You get a pad, about a 6x10 pad, and a picnic table. But on this site number 1, you do also get this electrical breakout box on this concrete pillar that you'll have to maneuver around when you back in. I know for my own driving skills or lack of skills, I probably would not want this site, but this is the site that you're going to always have the water view here. So I understand it's in high demand usually. Site number 2 is pretty much cut and dry. Utilities there in the back, and the utilities are water, electric, and sewer. There's no cable here. There's no off-the-air television here. So if you're going to watch something, you're going to have to bring it with you, because it's not here. No TV, not one channel at all. So coming over to number 3, you've got this yellow concrete thing sticking up about 6 inches you'd have to deal with. But it's not a bad site. And of course number 4 is where I am, and I can't remember if I think I picked this because it's one of the wider spots, and it doesn't really have obstacles except this tree, which really was not an obstacle for me. The issue I had getting in here was trying to keep my jacks off of the concrete, my wheels off of the concrete, and in the back having enough room for my electrical cable. I don't know how long my power cord is, but it's stretched out all the way. But fit in here pretty nicely. But with this kind of water access and this view, and the security is excellent here because you're in a, you could call it a gated facility, but for us military guys, we know that's just security. There's a fence around this place, and to get in, you have to call on the phone, have them open up the gate. And to go out, you have to call on the phone and have them open up the gate. It's really not a bad situation. And the active duty Coast Guard here, they're just great. I mean, they don't really run the campsite or the cabins. I forgot to mention there are cabins. But I've talked to several of them. They're real nice, real friendly, just as you would expect. The MWR host here, his name is Joe. He's a real nice guy. He's the one that gets you checked in, and if you have any issues, he'll try to address that. But looking over this way, there's a canal, and you can see there's a Coast Guard boat sitting in the water. And the white building there, those are cabins, bungalows, whatever you want to call it. I think each one has 2 units in it, and there's 2 of those buildings, so probably a total of 4 cabins. Well, I wasn't sure I was going to even do any video here at the Coast Guard station on Marathon Key. But the scenery is just so beautiful, I had to capture some of it. Even if it never ends up on YouTube, at least I'll have it. But our RV is about, I don't know, 50 yards from the water here. And we've been fishing here over the last 2 days a little bit. We've caught 10 snapper. Cheetah's pretty happy about that. But the Coast Guard station is adjacent to this marina. And there's some pretty big boats in there. Now, we didn't realize this until we got here in the Keys a couple of days ago. But everywhere you go, if you look real carefully, there are iguana here. I guess they are an invasive species that, like a lot of animals, were pets, and pet owners turned them out. They got into this tropical environment here, and they have thrived. The ones I saw on this tree night before last were about 3 feet long. I'm looking for one now, and I don't see it. But that doesn't mean he's not up there. So let's move on around here and look at the water. Now in the water, we've seen lobster in there. You see a lot of large parrotfish coming by. We've seen a moray eel and a shark, which is about maybe 3 feet long. See, this is the Coast Guard Station Marathon here. So without trying to sound like any kind of expert or something, I'll just say that the Florida Keys have a unique ecosystem here. There are land critters and, of course, sea life that you're just not going to see up in higher or more northern climates, I guess. But it's very beautiful here. I've been here several times before, but it's been many years ago. We went to Key West yesterday, and Key West is congested, very congested. I went there a few times back in the 70s, and it was pretty much a laid-back, easygoing town on the ocean. But now there's cruise ships that come in and drop off hundreds of passengers at one time, which just flood the streets, Duval Street, along the area where Hemingway used to call home, at Sloppy Joe's Bar and places like that. That now it's just so crowded, everything is highly commercialized, and I'd say it's a little bit expensive there, but I think you'll find that anywhere in the Keys, most everything will be at a premium as compared to, you know, back at home for you, unless you live somewhere like Hawaii. But diesel fuel here, I saw it today on Marathon Island for $2.99, but going further south, it just goes up. It was up to like $3.39 some places down on Key West.